Hello, my fellow coders. Welcome back to ThinkInCode. And today we're going to make a Pokemon battle game. So before we start making it, let's see how it works. First, let's give us our first Pokemon. That would be Pikachu. And then another would be Mewtwo. And as you can see, Pikachu, it got the information for Pikachu, then Mewtwo, then it compared both of them. And as you can see, we got the final score and a winner. So that's how we are going to build a game. And in this game, we are going to use something called an API, which we will learn as further we go. So let's get started. Like always, we're going to start with our main function, def main, and we're going to print our title. That would be Pokemon Battle Game. And then we're going to start with Pokemon name 1 equals to input, enter first Pokemon name, and then we're going to do Pokemon 2, enter second Pokemon name, and then we're going to make a variable Pokemon where we'll get all the information about the Pokemon itself. So here we're going to have something like Pokemon function, Pokemon, and then we're going to pass a Pokemon name as an parameter. So let's make a dummy function for right now, and later we can extend it and make it an actual function. Get Pokemon name 2, and then we're going to do if Pokemon, and Pokemon 2 display underscore Pokemon, and then we're going to do Pokemon 1 and then display Pokemon 2. And let's make another dummy function called def display Pokemon and then pass. And let's do something here. Let's add a comment here, getting the information for Pokemon using an API, which I'll be talking about later, and displaying the information we got from the API. So after this, what we're going to do is we're going to initiate a battle between them. Since this is a battle game, and we're going to give two Pokemon 1 and Pokemon 2. And if we do not have both the Pokemons with us, what we're going to do is else. It's probably because we didn't find the Pokemon they were searching for. So print Pokemon not found. Now, if we have a main function, let's start the main function. And now we don't have a battle function. So what we're going to do is battle between Pokemons, and we're going to do def battle Pokemon 1 and Pokemon 2, and we're going to pass. So before we move forward, I want to explain something. I want to explain what an API is. So as you can see in this chart I have made, so API is something like a waiter, where we as a client order something, we request something, and the waiter or the API takes the request to the kitchen, and then the kitchen will respond with if they have the stuff ready or they are preparing it or they do not have it as a response, and that response is given back to us. And here we can get any kinds of response, like let's suppose they don't have this we ordered, or they are going to prepare it, or then they have the one. So this is all the ones we can get, and these are defined by codes, and codes such as 200 for they have it, it's there, right? And then 400, and then 300 and 500. So these are all the codes that I'll leave in the notes down below in the description, so you could check it out. We got it, right? Client as us, we order something, we request something using the waiter requests that to the kitchen, and the kitchen will respond if they have it, they are making it, or if they don't have it, and that response is given to us. Now, how API works? Our Python program will ask, give me the information about Pikachu to the API, and the API will process the request in the server, which in this case is a kitchen. And if the server does have the information about Pikachu, what it will do is send us the data, requested data, in this form, like a dictionary. If I may give an example, this is the example of the data we will get. So as you can see, and that's how we are going to compare our two different Pokemons or get the information for two different Pokemons. We need something called request something from the API. So the URL we have for this API would be this. And now what we need here is we're going to make this a F string. We need something called a search term, right? So what kind of Pokemon are we searching for? So we're going to do this. We're going to do dot lower. So it's in lower case. And this I'll show you right here. So this is what the URL means. So this basically is the kitchen. This is the link to the kitchen. It's a link to the kitchen. Like any website, this is a link to the kitchen or the server. And this is our search term. In Poke API, search for this Pokemon. We're going to use the try catch method. So response is when we request the data and we get something back. As I said, what did the kitchen respond with? Do we have the data? We do not have the data. Is the server down, or what's going on? And then what we are going to do is if response status is 200, that means we got the data then we are going to do return none. And then what we're going to do, data equals to response.json, since the folder is in fact in JSON, as you can see here. So we are going to read a JSON folder. And now we need specifically what we need are stats. So we are going to do this is first get the name from data name, and then we're going to make this a title. And then what we're going to do is hp data stats, and then instead of hp what we are going to write is 0 base stat. So what we are doing here is first getting the name from the data. So this is our whole data, right? If I search for name, as you can see, we got the name. It's not nested, so we got the data from there without getting inside. So here what's happening is we are getting the hp data is in the nested JSON folder or dictionary. As you can see here, if we go into stats, then we have to go into 0, we have to go into base stat, and then we get the value. As you can see, stats, then we go to 0, and then we go to 0, and then we go to base stat, and then we go to base stat to get the value. So we got the value. Now next is we are going to take the attack. Now we are going to take defense, and we are going to take speed, and the same. As you can see, it's 0 is for HP, 1 is for attack, 2 is for defense, and 3 is for special attack, and 4 is for special defense, 2 is for defense, and then what do we have? Speed. Speed, we don't have speed in 3, we have speed in 5, as you can see. So here we have a mistake, so this should be 5. So that's how it works. Return stats. Then we are going to do a except, and here we are going to write a longer except. Exception as E, and then we are going to print the error, and then we are going to print the actual error that we got. This is what we are doing, is we are gracefully handling any error that come our way. Now for displaying the Pokemon, we are basically just using this data to make it prettified. So I'm just gonna speed run through this. Now, what we are going to do is use our battle logic. So, battle would be pretty simple. What we're going to do is first start with the score 1 for Pokemon 1 with a 0, and score 2 for Pokemon 2. And what we're going to do is categories, and we're going to create a list of categories we're going to fight for: HP, attack, defense, and speed. Now, next, what we're going to do is print. We're going to use two sorts, and then we're going to do battle starts. Yeah, we have a mistake here. So let's do this. And for stat in categories, we're going to do print f stat, and then we're going to do stat dot upper, and then we're going to do if Pokemon 1 stat is greater than Pokemon 2 stat, then we're going to do print f Pokemon 1 stat. Pokemon 1 name is wins this round. And then we are going to do score plus 1, score 1 plus equals to 1. Else if Pokemon stat is this, Pokemon 2 name wins this round. And else if they are not greater or small to each other, they probably are draw. So what we are going to do is print, we're going to do draw. So here I forgot something, that is score 2 plus 1. So we need to change the score, print space here, and then now here we have some logic, that is basically if they are greater or smaller, and print, and then we're gonna say with our emoji, we're going to say winner is Pokemon first, Pokemon 1 dot name, and elif score is 2, print and then the trophy winner Pokemon 2, and else print emoji for this as well. Let's say handshake. We're gonna add the handshake, and we're gonna say draw, or it's our draw. So that being said, we have completed our game. Let's run it and let's test it out if it works. Let's try the same one we did. If it's an error, Mewtwo, Pokemon was not found. Why did the Pokemon was not found? Let's see. So the error was, so what was happening was, it was really simple. So this was not supposed to be equals to equals. It was supposed to be not equals to 200. If the status is not okay or successful, then return none. So what's happening is it's returning none even when it is successful. So okay, let's try to run it again. Let's go Pikachu and then Zubat. And as you can see, we got the response. First, let's clean it up. So let's delete this and our debugging codes. So this are what we call debugging prints, right? Where we use the print statement to debug stuff. So let's rerun this Pikachu and then Zubat. And as you can see, we got Pikachu and Zubat and the battle. Zubat wins, Pikachu wins, Pikachu wins. So finally the Pikachu won. So that is our project, and we took a lot of time to debug it, but it was done. If we just remove this spacings, right, let's remove some spacings. Yeah, and it was under 100 lines. That is it for today. And if you want to learn more about Python and how to make cool stuff like this, be sure to subscribe. And we're going to start a new series on object-oriented programming in Python, and where we'll be doing interesting projects like this. So if you want to follow along, do subscribe. See you. Bye bye. Happy coding. Keep coding.